The effort it took to get past Phoenix the other night for him personally, how important rest was going forward, and just maintaining his normal rest, getting back his body back ready for this game. In terms of emptying the tank with LeBron in a single elimination game like this, is this playoff level willingness? Is it regular season level willingness, or is it somewhere in between? How hard you're willing to go with your top players?
It's I think it's somewhere in between for sure. Again, I think it's fun too to have. It wasn't fun being in the moment, but it's intense, highly intense in the moment. But in terms of trying to manage your star players and be efficient with their workload, it's two things. If they're managing anything physically that's not really preventing them from playing, but also something you need to be on the lookout for, coupled with their performance. It's easy to say, oh, well, just play them this many amount of minutes. But if they're out there, tearing it up, like it's tough. You don't want to take them out, and neither do they want to come out. And so it's a combination of that. And then whenever we can get other guys playing well, as we constantly pushing team basketball, playing the right way, playing together, the strength is in the power of numbers. And so when we can get guys that all of our guys are some of our support players, AD obviously being that side by side with Brian trying to make plays, it allows us to take him out of the game and manage his minutes more effectively.
Vinny towards the middle.
What's up, Darvin?
What's that?
You guys played Phoenix twice, and you're going to play New Orleans. Could be possible playoff matchups down the line. Do you think you'll use some of these matchups to actually maybe scout because of the added intensity, maybe something you can use down the line, even though it's game 23, 24 of the regular season?
Yeah, every game we play, and we have our designated sections that on both sides of the ball are themes that we keep in the database. Whenever we need to pull something out and just illustrate something to the team or think about a different coverage or a different play call, we already have that in our database. So playoffs are a long, long way away. So much can change between now and then. First thing being first is your health, the health of your team, who's available, who's not. But definitely, you try to get a feel, and you got the trade deadline, all of that could change teams, and so you just try to take notes and again build out your database so that if you do need to go back and look at something from this earlier in the year, you have the ability to do so.
Allie on the left.
Darvin, what's been your early impressions of New Orleans? Obviously haven't seen them, but as they've gotten healthy as well.
I watched that game they played against Sacramento, and then watched a little bit, this morning on the plane. They're a well-balanced team, in my opinion. They've dealt with some injury issues, and they seem to be coming back whole. Larry Nance is not out there right now, but, some of their other guys, Trey Murphy is back, Alvarado, all of them, CJ, obviously. But they're a well-balanced team, man, and they reflect their coach, just hard-nosed and just go about his business and doesn't try to draw too much crazy attention to himself and just go out there and make plays. And that's how they play. You really have to play at a high level on both sides of the ball. Their physicality, their speed, their ability to hurt you in the paint, hurt you from the perimeter. They have these long athletic wings. They have a good little energizer bunny in Alvarado. So it's going to be a tough matchup. It's the people should be thrilled because I'm looking forward to a really intense game.
Kobe here in front.
Kobe Bryce, Southern California News Group. You mentioned this, I think it was after.
You really just introduce yourself like that. I hope that's for everybody else.
It's right. He did say name and affiliation.
Okay.
What's up, Darvin?
A little precursor, I think, for anyone that hasn't had the opportunity to participate in it, and for those who have, the competitive spirit, the intensity, is very reflective of the playoffs. When you think about it, and I think some of the games I've watched from around the league, how intense they are going down to the wire. I think again, you have a trophy that you can win, you have a big purse that you can win. You really got to be on your game, and it's similar. It's funny. It's a split between the NBA and the NCAA with the tournament style setup. So I think it's been great, man. Sometimes you tend to yawn. We don't like to admit it, but you tend to yawn through certain NBA games, regular season games at this point of the year, going into the next 20. And surpassed the first 20, now we're going into the second 20 amount of games. And so to have this infused into the season, you get a chance to see this high level of basketball play in December. I think it's great for the fans, great for everyone involved, great for the league, and just another feather in the cap.
Standing in the back left.
Yeah, how you doing, Coach? Coming into the first incident tournament, and hopefully that the Lakers will be able to go and win on Saturday as well, like Thursday and Saturday. How would you feel with this add up to the team as motivation coming into the playoffs, maybe, or for you, even as a coach, on the personal resume?
I mean, I don't think about all that stuff really, to be honest, man. I just think we try to take care of what's in front of us. Right now is a non-game day, so recovery and film study was the priority. Tomorrow, the game obviously be the priority. And we're just trying to, we're getting healthy bodies back. So we're just trying to build continuity and build the best possible rhythm and, not skip any steps. We don't fast forward to the playoffs or anything like that. We try to extract as much as we can out of each and every day, whether it's a non-game day or a game day. We try to get better at something so we stay in the moment.
Tim here on the right.
Darvin, just curious, now that you're through most of this thing, I'm curious if there's anything you think the league could tweak or change about it for next year to improve it?
Yeah, add more money to the purse.
Anything else?
Once I reflect, I'm sure I can come up with something, Tim, but right now, just add more money to the purse.
One thing that's come up a little bit is the idea of having some sort of a team incentive, and as far as beyond the money, have some sort of whatever it specifically is, some sort of playoff thing or tiebreaker thing or something that goes with winning this. Do you think that potentially be a good idea also?
Possibly it's something definitely that should be looked at. Maybe it's some type of draft compensation as well as the purse. I don't know, something like that. I think it'll be cool. But if you want the players to play at an extremely high level, increase the purse.
On the left, front row.
You said increase the purse. A lot of players have been saying that, but just wanted to talk to you about yesterday's game. Looking back at that film, we talk a lot about AD, but the perimeter defense, Max, Vando, Cam, Torian, their ability and being able to see that group finally, because I know a lot of guys have been hurt. What are some things you're starting to see with this team in terms of how good you guys can be defensively? They did a phenomenal job on Book, did a great job on KD. He was just making some tough shots, but just getting your thoughts on how this group can be defensively and what they can be.
Well, when Rob and myself sat down and started figuring out, how we can add to what we have and build around both Bron and AD, and then the guys who, were returning, AR, Rui, Vando, those guys, and a young emerging Max, D'Lo. There's just what can we add? We want to be, create a defensive juggernaut, if you will, like to try to go out and find some long, athletic, tough wings that we can really get stops. We know if we're able to be at a high level on the defensive end, and then we play with energy and pace offensively, we can score in a variety of different ways. We got a plethora of scorers up and down our roster, but really putting together a group that could be elite defensively, I think that was definitely the top priority. And then you look at Torian, Cam, Max, Rui, Jackson, C. Wood, his ability to defensive rebound, all of those guys fit with both Bron and AD. And you saw late game, there's a lot of times where we were in a normal coverage trying to maintain our matchups, but we had to do some emergency switching, and it worked out well because it's like size, long, big, athletic people, and AD anchoring our defense frees up all of those guys to really be who they are, and that's tenacious, in your chest, in the passing lanes, showing their hands, good contests with their length, and making it really difficult for the opponent. Last night, obviously, it was Phoenix, but it just gives you comfort when you have that, because defense is something you could basically get right every single night if you just put your mind to it and you have the energy and the effort and the discipline. And so I think that was on full display last night.
In the center.
You brought up multiple times about being healthier, some guys coming back, especially after last night. What do you see from that group that has come back that you believe is really going to be helping you in this in-season tournament? And how important is it to get those guys in this high-stake type of atmosphere as you kind of try to ramp them up?
I just think the ability to not have to scheme. I mean, obviously you're going to have a counter, or you're going to mix up pitches, whatever metaphor you want to use, but to be able to go into a game and start out a game and not have to double team unless you choose to. And our double teams have been really high quality, been very beneficial to our defense. But that said, if you're able to go into a game and able to play people straight up, that creates balance on the defensive end of the floor for your team. If you're not scrambling, running all over the place, that can sometimes create easy opportunities for the opposing team's offense. So being able to play straight up, have certain guys who are elite individually, defensively, and and then have an AD back there, obviously, and then when he has to sit down, you get Jackson back there, and he's just like a deer running up and down, pogo sticker, dunking around the rim, blocking shots as well. So I just think being able to maintain matchups and not have to, at some point in the game you're going to have to, mix up your pitches, but for the most part, to just start the game and create a foundation where you can maintain matchups, the matchups that you want to have with their, offensive threats. It can allow you to see the game clear and gives you a better opportunity to be balanced defensively.
Matt, last question over here.
Darvin, you coached in the league and played in the league. You also spent time in the G League at the end of your career with the Austin Toros. This tournament provides an opportunity for those end-of-the-bench players to have not only the reward and the money that you talked about, a little bit more of this experience on a bigger level. Knowing how hard that is for those players across all teams, what kind of opportunity is this for those players, not only just trying to make a living, but also to get this kind of experience?
I think it's great, man, on all the levels you just mentioned, and the first foremost being the intensity and the level you have to play at to be successful in this type of environment. I know our young guys are just on the edge of their seats, and just you can hear them talking after the game about how hard everyone is playing. And that's the thing, the main key thing that they need to see is young, upcoming, potential, regular pros, perennial pros, I should say. They want to have any type of longevity in this business on the court. You first look at the effort that it takes, the competitive spirit of the guys that, you look up to, that necessarily don't have to play that hard, they think, just can rely on talent. Well, that's not the case. I mean, this type of environment brings out your competitive spirit. And I think first and foremost, the money is great. We all laugh and joke about the money, and the money is always the focus. But really, as a professional, you look at the approach, the mental approach, the competitive spirit, and again, the effort that's given throughout the course of the game, possession by possession.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.